Y'all, Wizard101 is about to add one of the craziest gear sets that I've ever seen, and we need to talk about it. So for some context, right? Every time there's a patch like there was a couple of nights ago, they also add new files into the game. There are people on Wiz that data mine those files so that we get an early idea of what's coming into the game. So definitely take this information with a grain of salt because it's subject to change. But one of the things that showed up in these files is too big not to talk about: an upcoming gear set in a bundle that hasn't released yet. So what you guys see on your screen is one of the most ridiculous set bonuses that I've ever seen, and it looks like it's going to be a part of a thing called a Cottage Spore set that's going to be coming in the next bundle, which is called the Cottage Core bundle. Now keep in mind, bundles, this is something that you pay for, and these gear set bonuses, they're no joke. As you equip more and more parts of this, like hat, robe, boots, mount, all of that stuff, you get bonus things from wisps, like as in you get more health and mana from wisps for wearing this gear set. For wearing 3 and 4 pieces, you get insane increases to healing, and the set bonus for wearing 5 to 6 is, I think, ridiculous. For 5 you get 78 energy, and for 6 you get a mate cast that happens when you cast a heal randomly in, I guess, a team setting. Now keep in mind, while we do have this specific leak on what the set bonus from this gear is going to look like, we actually don't know what the gear is going to look like. That's why this is a little bit of a speculative video. Already there's some major takeaways. Let's say this isn't the final product. Let's say they even scale this back a little bit. Even if they were going to do it, this is the most ambitious gear set bonus that we've ever had. I think the history of set bonuses in general, it's wonky at best. And what I mean by that is, right, like, I think the 2 big ones are Dragoon set bonus and the Fossil Avenger set bonus. The Fossil Avenger set bonus gives you extra damage for essentially wearing a pet in a mount. That's how most people do it. And it's created a ridiculous amount of demand for gear that you can only get from a pack just so that you can get the max damage in game. And not only does it make the absolute best set for PvE in the game right now, basically somewhat pay to win. This pet specifically, the Scratchy Frillosaur, it's also a barrier to entry for some setups in PvP as well. Right, if you go against someone using this and you don't have access to it, that is in some ways a disadvantage for not buying a pack. The other set bonus that does exist that is less pay to win is a Dragoon set. If y'all remember from years back, if you happen to get a bunch of this gear, you could wear a lot of it and you could get all kinds of bonus stats like accuracy, like damage. They even added some really cool stats like pip conserve to the mix, and honestly, this was probably when they started thinking about set bonuses to begin with. And yet they never fleshed it out, and the Dragoon gear specifically is notoriously known for how hard it is to get. It is safe to say that the average casual Wizard101 player has had little to no interaction with set bonuses, even though it's a ridiculously cool concept. And now what looks to be happening is they're adding it to a bundle that I'm gonna assume you gotta pay $30 to $40 for. Now on the surface, I really don't actually mind. I do have a few questions about what the stats on the gear is. We won't know until we know the stats on the gear. But let's say this gear doesn't give energy base, then you have a bunch of energy gear. Technically, if you're just trying to go for energy, you're still better off just wearing a full set of energy gear. Also, bundle gear, very, like, you know, normally it doesn't come with pins. And what's very important to note, on schools that you're generally going to heal on, like life or balance even, like, right, support schools, the shield pins are where you'll get your outgoing. They can give up to 29% outgoing, and you can put up to 2 shield pins per set. So this 50 outgoing set bonus, yes, it's a lot, but it doesn't even actually, like, compete with shield pins at that point. The actual gear would have to have actually tons of outgoing added onto it as well. And even if all of that outgoing with the set bonus and all of that with this bundle gear is added on, it still is lacking the damage that a lot of gear with shield pins also has. What I'm trying to say is, even though the set bonus looks ridiculous and it is something that you pay a bundle for, it probably shouldn't break the game. I don't think it'll make PvP worse. I think PvE, this looks to be a very well-rounded set that you could just have fun with if you happen to buy the bundle. I am gonna trust that they don't make a ridiculous bundle where they incorporate a set bonus of this magnitude and then also add a ton of energy to the main gear, also add a ton of outgoing to the main gear. Like, if this is a bundle that gives damage, resist, outgoing, and energy, I mean, I doubt it could ever do all of that. But with the set bonus is powerful, they have to make sure it doesn't go too far into one direction, because then we're returning to the dark ages where you have to pay $40 for a bundle to get specific gear to do anything, like have the best PvE setup or a comparably best PvE setup, even compete in PvP. I will be the first person to call it out if they end up doing it. They haven't seemed to be doing this with bundles recently, where it feels like you need to buy it to compete compete with anybody else. Let's hope they don't do that, because otherwise we'll have a problem with it. But at the moment, I'm gonna choose not to have a problem with the fact that they're using the set bonus with a bundle potentially. Where do I draw the issue with this? As much as this is exciting, I actually like that they're just exploring the concept of set bonus. I desperately want to live in a world where we see these things with the main world gear, y'all. This might sound like a weird ask, right? I mean, there's literally countless templates. Now that we've had, essentially, we're looking at 2 years of level 170 being the max. We have like a ridiculous amount of templates. We have Reaver and Stalker gear. We have Forbidden Library gear. We have Hunhow and Shabalba sets. We have Wastelander gear, a new pack that came out with reskinned Wastelander gear. And we also have the Kanzu set that dropped in this world, which is Selenopolis. With all those templates available at a max level, I think it might sound a little stupid to be like, hey, if you combine 2 pieces from the same set, you might get a slight bonus and that would be cool. Maybe it's asking for a lot, but I actually don't think it's asking for a lot. I think it would be really cool if certain stats, which are harder to access, I'm thinking stats like accuracy for low accuracy schools, pip conserve for certain schools that, you know, struggle to actually reach their damage and other stat caps while running pip conserve. Maybe health for schools that, you know, have such a high health cap, and even with all the gear that they want to put offensively, they're still low on HP. Another idea that I would really love to see, unique item cards, if as a set bonus that could be added to your deck for, you know, running multiple pieces of, like, I don't know, Shabalba gear, running multiple pieces of Reaver gear. I think that the thing that the Reaver gear did really well is it gave a lot of item cards that you would definitely see yourself using. However, because the set doesn't give shads, sometimes it feels like you're giving up some crazy ass item cards simply for, you know, not running a set that doesn't give shads. But I would have a much larger incentive to run more Reaver gear, for example, if running more pieces of it maybe gave me more death blades that are, like, you know, ridiculously good, like 45. Right, you could start actually seeing people give up stats that templates give up for the set bonus as well as the actual stat. As far as really creative set bonuses, like, I guess, you know, an extra team heal or a whiz bonus, I don't mind if that stays on bundle gear. I feel like you should, you know, justify the amount of time and effort that it probably, like, takes for them to make a bundle. I just feel like they're greenlighting bundle gear with set bonuses. We really should see this in the main world as well, especially because it'll give us an incentive to get every template of gear, which is not really something that I see these days. I think right now the game is more about finding the best gear setup and just speed running that outcome, but I don't think an MMORPG like Wiz should be about a best gear setup. Like, maybe if you're, like, min-maxing one stat, yes, there will be a best gear setup, right? You're just gonna want gear with the highest damage. That's fine. But I think anything more complicated than just brute forcing damage, I feel there should be multiple right answers, and I think set bonuses get you there in a way that most things in this game don't. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on this. I think a lot of people miss the set bonus era of the Dragoon gear because we just haven't had anything similar. But I'd also like to hear y'all's opinions on this bundle gear. Obviously, we don't know what the gear looks like yet. This is the only, like, you know, leak that we have about this. But yeah, y'all, I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on the bundle, set bonuses in general. What kind of set bonuses would y'all want? What stats and what item cards from running multiple pieces of a gear set would you want to see? Hopefully the devs read these comments and maybe give us a chance to try these out without buying a bundle. I think that would be dope. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub if you're new. And as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome. See y'all soon. And yeah.